listen to stories, appreciate idioms. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Encountering Idioms.
I'm 子曰
Today, the idiom we are going to encounter is
异口同声
Let's break it down and read it slowly.
异口同声异口同声异口同声异口
refers to different mouths.
同声
refers to the same voice. The literal meaning of the idiom
异口同声
is that different people speak the same words. Now, it metaphorically refers to people's expressions or ideas being completely consistent. The idiom
异口同声
that first appeared in the book
宋书与丙之传
The original text goes like this.
夫妇深思只有余志今之事迹异口同声便是章著正为测得物之术耳
This means that after much contemplation, only my own foolishness is obvious. Now, it is clear that different people are speaking with the same voice, indicating that the affairs of state are unfathomable. The story goes like this. During the northern and southern dynasties period, there was a minister named Yu Bingzhi. Yu Bingzhi had held many official positions and had gradually risen through the ranks until he became a high-ranking official as the Minister of Personnel. He was not only trusted and favored by the emperor, but also participated in confidential affairs and decisions in the court, which made his power increasingly greater. However, Yu Bingzhi was not talented and knowledgeable, nor did he have a good reputation in the court. Other ministers looked down on him. But he relies on the favor of the emperor and is very arrogant, behaving unreasonably and disrespecting other officials. He was impatient, often interrupting others before they finished speaking and making hasty conclusions, which made his colleagues despise him. Furthermore, he was overly obsessed with cleanliness. Whenever guests visited him or reported their work to him, he would order his servants to wipe down everything the guests touched or sat on before they left. This made visitors very uncomfortable, and consequently, few people liked to visit him. There was another minister named He Shangji who hated Yu Bingzhi very much. He frequently reported Yu Bingzhi's misconduct to the emperor, saying, he tried to win over other officials in the court, and spoke ill of those who refused to be his friend. He was also not good at his job, and often caused great losses to the country. He was neither competent nor virtuous as a qualified minister. Your Majesty, you can see everything clearly. Why do you still choose to promote him? The emperor, however, paid little attention to He Shangji's reports, and simply said, all ministers in the court have some minor flaws. It's not a big deal. After a while, He Shangji came to report to the emperor again, saying that Yu Bingzhi had summoned court officials to his home and ordered them around, forcing them to do things for his personal benefit. He also forced people to play musical instruments for him. He illegally collected money, accumulated a lot of wealth, and was now using that money to build his own house. Everyone knew about these things. If the emperor did not believe him, he could ask other ministers or send someone to investigate. The emperor also thought that Yu Bingzhi had gone too far, but because he loved him very much, he tried to protect him and said, then send him to Danyang. This can be considered as a punishment, and maybe he will realize his mistakes. He Shangji was very dissatisfied with this, and said to the emperor, Yu Bingji has done so many bad things, and all the ministers in the court criticize him. If your majesty only thinks of the past, and does not punish this guilty person heavily, it will not only make all the ministers in the court feel disheartened, but also delay the country's major affairs. The emperor was very troubled, but in the end, he had to listen to He Shangji's words and dismissed Yu Bingji from all of his official positions. In this story,
异口同声
means that they all disliked Yu Bingji very much, and under these circumstances, the emperor had to dismiss him. There is another story. Long, long ago, a young king ruled over a wealthy country. The king loved to hear stories, so he invited all sorts of people to his palace to tell him stories. One day, the king decided to have his servants tell him a story. He summoned the 3 smartest servants and asked them to tell the same story, and then he would personally judge who told the best story. So the first servant began to tell the story. His story was very short, only a few sentences. The king listened and was not satisfied. Then the second servant came out to tell the story. He told it very vividly and used many vivid metaphors, but the king still found it boring. The third servant came forward to tell his story. His story was very lively, and the content was also very exciting, which fascinated the king. After the story was told, the king was very happy. He said, "You told the story very well, but I noticed that your story seems to be different from the stories told by the first 2 servants. Can you tell me what the difference is between your story and theirs?" The third servant was very smart, and he replied, "Your Majesty, actually, the 3 of us told the same story. The essence of the story and the message we wanted to convey are the same. We just used different languages and words, so it seemed like 3 different stories to you." The king understood this principle and praised the third servant's intelligence. In this story, the 3 servants told the same story in different languages, which can also be called
异口同声
These are the 2 stories. Next, let's review the idiom we encountered today.
异口同声异口同声
Finally, let's create a sentence using
异口同声。当听到这个好消息时，大家异口同声地欢呼了起来。当听到这个好消息时，大家异口同声地欢呼了起来。
That's all for today's Encountering Idioms. If you like it, please like and subscribe. See you next time.